Well, hi YouTubers, hi, I'm back with a Freezers 500 books. I read this in one sitting. It was such a great book. It's Missing Ellen by Natasha McAbed, and if I've mispronounced that, I am so sorry. It's a debut novel. It came out a couple of years ago. I won't spoil anything. I am the first person to get it out of my local library, which is a shame. As for not spoiling it, I would everyone to get this book out, okay? I'll read the blurb. Ellen and Maggie have been best friends for as long as they can remember, sharing clothes, passions and secrets. But now Ellen's not there, and Maggie's left alone. Looking back over the events before Ellen's disappearance, Maggie tries to make sense of her friend's actions. At school and at home, she feels that no one understands what she's going through. Except maybe Liam, the boy next door, who has always had feelings for Ellen. Can Maggie get used to missing Ellen? One thing I love is that young adult novels have always kind of recently become more kind of like fantastical. This is realistic. This is a story about a friendship that's dying. This is a story which is so realistic. This is me in my teenage years. I didn't advance as fast as my other friends, and I was being left behind. I was the dork of the group, okay? Short, glasses, dork, yeah, that one. And while they were going on, okay, there'd been things that I wasn't into, I was left behind. And to this day, even now, it is difficult. All my friends are now sitting down having kids and buying houses, and I'm literally still not there yet. So, this book is so good. It's done in a way of Maggie writing in her journal, and then kind of interconnecting with what happened in the past. And it's so realistic. One thing that Natasha does is the reason running through this. This is a book which is universal themes. Because the older we get, the more friendships we lose, and it's not easy. She is a fantastic writer. This is just an example of they're teenagers, they've doing the GCSEs, and Ellen has got this bad home life. Her father's left, and she's struggling with lots of things that are going on, and she's falling with a bad crowd, including Pete. Okay, there you go. And at this point, instead of going to a school disco, which Ellen wanted to go to because it would have been fun, she sneaks off to go to a pub. Here we go. Make mine a vodka and coke, Ellen responded. I groaned inwardly, as if it wasn't bad enough that we had to sneak off to a pub while our mums thought we were at a teen disco. Now she wanted us to get caught drinking alcohol. I mean, my parents don't mind me having a glass of wine with dinner at home with them. Actually, they sort of encourage it. I had to think that they're being terribly cool and laid back. And then they seem to think that if I can have it all at home, I won't feel the need to go to the pub or hang around my friends outside the off-licence, pouring their money and hoping someone will buy us the beer. So any time they're opening a bottle of wine for Sunday dinner, or whenever, they pour me a small glass, and they tease me and I'm getting merry when I'm nothing of the sort. But vodka in a place where we shouldn't have been in the first place. Exactly. Ellen is throwing herself into this grown-up world with her adult boyfriend, who essentially she also lies to, makes her think that she's older than what she is. And not just an adult world, okay, but kind of a twisted dark world too. This is further along in the book, okay, where Ellen and Maggie are going to a sleepover at Ellen's father's place. He's had to go to work, so they're alone. Instead of having a sleepover and watching a film, as you do, Ellen invites Pete and his friends over, okay, and this happens. This happens with a guy called Spider, right. He put his arm around me and slipped a hand under my top. I stiffened, panic-stricken, not knowing what to do. The lights went off in the kitchen. I felt a momentary relief, expecting to see Ellen and Pete reappear. But then I heard footsteps on the stairs and a muffled giggle. He was taking him upstairs and leaving me alone with this creep. I couldn't believe Ellen would abandon me like that. We had always been there for each other, even as little 5-year-olds and junior infants. She had stood up for me. Now she was just leaving me with this horrible guy. I didn't even know. This feeling of betrayal was overwhelming. Just then, Spider slipped a finger inside my bra and leaned in towards me, his breath smelling of beer and cigarette smoke. I've had enough. Get off me, I shouted, jumping out. What the hell do you think you're doing? Now, one thing I like about Maggie is a character who has spent her entire life essentially being, okay, fine, they're very much a lackey for Ellen. You know, being with Ellen, she doesn't really have much confidence, but you can see throughout the book her confidence rising. The fact is, she doesn't even realise this now, but it takes a hell of a amount of strength for a girl to not, as a taken advantage of. Maggie's been put in a vulnerable position, okay, and yet she actually finds her inner strength to push them away and say no. A lot of other young girls would have felt they'd had to go along with it, or would have lost their confidence, or would have been scared. Maggie finds her inner strength, and I absolutely love that about her. That's a tour de force. So, this book, one thing I love about this book, because it's not a long novel, it's a novella, it's 173 pages. It's going towards a conclusion, this inevitable conclusion that you can kind of see coming, but it doesn't lessen the impact. No spoilers. But you can kind of see how, with this crumbling friendship, Ellen's core rises. She may not have any more friends, or she might be still a bit lost, but she knows who she is now, and that is just magnificent. Honestly, I do recommend this book, Missing Ellen, by Natasha Macabed. It is such a great novel. Also, because she is Irish, it's also a very authentic Irish voice too, which you don't often see in literary fiction like this, and that's what I really, really did appreciate. We need more Irish authors, okay? So, I absolutely love this book. It's obviously the story of a young woman trying to figure out who she is, but also grow up as well. And it's fantastic. And also through Maggie's words, you get to meet Ellen as well, and it's quite a tragic story, but that's reality. That's the thing. This is realistic. A realistic take on being a teenager, which I think that everyone, even someone who, thank God, is no longer a teenager, I even identify with this. This came from a place that I know. So, Missing Ellen by Natasha Macabed. It's a Feast of 100 books. I'm signing off now, and bye now.